Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're gonna compare a fairly pricey knife with a super affordable knife. Right here is a knife that I found in Walmart. It's called Hampton Forge, and it's made of just high carbon stainless steel, so it will not rust. And this is what it looks like. I'll give you guys a close-up. It looks pretty good. It actually handles very well in the hand. It's an 8-inch chef's knife, classic American chef knife. And this stopping thing here actually feels very comfortable to use. Over here on the right side is the Enso Katsuki knife, I think that's what they called. It's basically Japanese version of the chef's knife, have a less of a curve, so it cuts more flat. And this knife, I think it cost me about $80 or $85 shipped, and I bought it from a website called cutleryandmore.com. It works great for cutting smaller items, but I always needed something slightly bigger to cut larger items and larger pieces of meat. So that's the reason I bought this knife. This knife is $14 at Walmart. This is about $85 online. This is made in Japan. This is made in China. So this knife is a VG10 steel, so fairly hard sandwiched steel core in between two stainless steel pieces. So the exterior is basically mostly just for the cool looks and things like that. And this is a fake hammered look. So it looks almost like etched. Anyway, since I worked in metalsmithing before when I was in college, I know this is not real hammer marks. Like a hammer mark will look very, very different, okay? But it's a beautiful knife and it handles very well. No complaints there. This knife, your classic one-piece design. This red piece is actually just a plastic wrapped near the stainless steel over here. So if you remove the plastic, it's going to be one piece that looks just like a uniform stainless steel piece. Okay, so and the cool thing is $14. It comes with a knife guard over here built in, which is quite nice. However, the design is kind of stupid because they have a hole over here for hanging on the rack, but when you remove it, like your knife is going to drop out if you actually hang this somewhere. Okay, so the best bet is just put it somewhere in the drawer with a guard like that. Okay, so that's a nice thing, and this thing doesn't come with any guard at all. Okay, I'm just gonna cut a piece of tomato over here and then tell you guys how it feels of this cheap knife with a fairly expensive knife. The knife I actually just sharpened, or not sharpened, but ran through the polisher, whatever. Basically just makes the metal straight instead of removing part of the metal. So that's that, and this knife straight out of the box. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my Katsuki knife, and of course it cuts like butter, especially vegetables. And this tomato is pretty fresh, so it's not gonna have any issue cutting this tomato. And basically I'm just like moving, not even applying any force, and it just cuts like super beautifully. Whatever thin you want it to cut, like really, really nice. Just there's no complaint there at all. Okay, so it cuts very beautifully. It doesn't rock, so if you like rocking action, it's kind of hard to rock. And sometimes when I cut some pieces that actually requires rocking action, and this knife actually is a little cumbersome to use when you cannot give it a good rocking action. Okay, so let's try the chef's knife. And by the way, this knife is actually more heavy than this knife, and it's actually, I feel it's better balanced than the Katsuki knife over here because of this added piece right here, the stopper. So let's give it a try. not as sharp, obviously, right out of the box, and it doesn't really cut. As you can see, it doesn't really dig into the tomatoes like the Katsuki knife did. So I have to actually use a little more force. See? For the $14 knife, it's not as sharp right out of the box. I'm gonna try to sharpen it really quick with the diamond sharpener, and then see if it's gonna cut through slightly better. I'm gonna finish eating those tomatoes really quick. Okay, so by the way, you can get this from Amazon and this from Amazon for the same price as Walmart if you don't have a Walmart nearby. Let's just sharpen it really quick. Actually feels pretty coarse when you first try to sharpen it like that. Oh, sorry. So hopefully after this, it should be just as sharp as the other knife. Yeah, the edge definitely needs working. So when you get this, make sure you get a little rod sharpening tool. This will definitely help keep your knife sharpened all the time, and I can already feel it's being sharpened, and it's gonna cut really nice in a little bit. I guarantee you. So conclusion is it's not sharp out of the box, but I'm sure it can get pretty sharp, okay? There are many different ways of sharpening this. You can have it hold like this and do that, or you can just do it like this. So either way, it works. Basically, this is what's working for me. So, I'm gonna wash this, give it one more try, okay? Fingers crossed. Here we go. Moment of truth. Oh yeah. Much better. Much better. So after sharpening it, it really digs into the tomatoes, and it works just as good as the Katsuki after sharpening. And that took what, 30 seconds. Look at that, beautiful. You know what, I actually kind of like the rocking action because it feels like it's more precise when I'm rocking and cutting. And after sharpening, wow, it's doing a fantastic job. Definitely good, definitely good. No complaint. Oh, very, very sharp. Try this again. So right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you guys that the feeling of the sharpness between those two knives, if you ask me if there's a difference, most definitely. This knife is sharp after sharpening, however, it's not as sharp as this knife. So both of the knives will get your job done just as nice as you need it to. However, if you want slightly more luxury of the sharpness within a good blade, spend that extra money and get a Japanese chef's knife. And they make different shapes. They have this Katsuki style. They also have the chef's knife style. So it's curved, easier for American home chefs to cook stuff. So I'm gonna end it here. And my conclusion is there a difference between a $14-15 knife and a knife that's slightly more expensive, like a mid-range home use fancy Japanese knife around $100 mark? Yes, most definitely there is a difference, and not only because it looks cooler, but because the actual blade, it just feels, it's a different feeling. This blade feels sharp than this one. Even after sharpening this one, it just feels much sharper, okay? So if you ask me, yes, if you have the extra, dollars, spend it on a good pair of knife. It's gonna be much more enjoyable, and you're gonna impress your, friends or visitors when you take this knife out and start cooking. With this knife, very utilitarian, works great, and it's super easy to just like keep it sharpened, and so there's no complaint there. For sure, I'm gonna be keeping this knife for general purpose, and of course, I'm gonna still have this knife to cut smaller items. Both of the knives will work perfectly fine in any of the kitchens. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I hope you found this video helpful in making you make a decision on whether you should spend the extra money to get a fancy knife or just a regular everyday use knife. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.